Good morning and welcome back to the channel of Paul Gross Fine Art, paulgross.com. I was going to talk a little bit this morning about having a muse. Is a muse necessary? Sort of expanding on the creative process. What inspires people? How does inspiration come? So I'll sort of open it up. These are, again, unscripted. So it'll help me sort of get the flow together with what I am wanting to discuss this morning. So another poem that came to me happened because I found a coin on a sidewalk. So here's the poem, because I found a coin walking along a sidewalk. City and color, it's a masquerade at night. Brazil on a sidewalk gleams in the lamplight. You pick it up and remember a muse. Echoes from memories pour with illusion, and the falling Helvetic rain. Sounds on a stone street. Nothing really left as we fall through time. So the coin, which I thought was maybe a British pound or something, because every now and again you might find one of those, they're a little more common here in southeast Michigan. Picked it up and the coin was from Brazil. I thought, well, that's interesting. Put it in my pocket. Weeks went by. And for some reason, those words just started coming to me. And I thought about being in the city. Brazil, for some reason. The coin reflecting off the sidewalk from the natural light. That led to, at one point, me walking through Switzerland, which is where the Helvetic subject matter comes into play in the poem. And the time I was there and the time since then that I've not been, and how everything in life, our memories are just an echo of everything that we've experienced. So, was the coin a muse? Was my life experience collectively a muse? I think all of the above, and it again comes back to a creative type person, being receptive, to those cues. So, do artists need a muse? Where does inspiration come from? I think it comes from a lot of places. And as far as a muse goes, for me, just as an example, I have enough life experience to draw from where I don't particularly need a muse. Like, I'm not suffering or starving for inspiration to paint something or write or draw something. I have enough of those. So beyond that, it comes down to execution of an idea, of which I think most people have plenty. Reworking things out, reinterpreting, images. And then I'd like to talk about this piece briefly. It's figurative, mixed media, oil, charcoal, some enamel on canvas. It's a figurative piece, and I think pretty successful. I call it EOS, which is Greek for Mother of the Earth, roughly, loosely translated. The colors are earth tones, but there's something gritty about it, something authoritative about it. It sort of just came together, and I consider it more of a drawing illustration. That's sort of how I approached it. It ended up being a little more graphic. I wanted it to breathe. Drew into the wet paint with the charcoal, etc. But, what inspired this? Was there something muse-like that inspired me to go in this direction and create this work? I definitely think there was. I wanted the image to be gritty, yet have some sort of aesthetic that drew the viewer in. And before I started with it, I sort of had a image in mind, and I wanted it to be and look spontaneous, which I think it does. And if you see it in real life, the piece is far more interesting and has more depth than you can see here on this screen, 2 or 3 inches high. So that's that about that piece. But I think work in life as an artist, painting, drawing, subject matters, inspiration in life in general, stored up aesthetics in regards to emotions, led to me being able to create a work like this, which is unique, and it's the only one like it in the world. So, as far as that goes, experience definitely helped drive, create this thing. It's part of the series. So that's about it on the muse. I think we all sort of get what it is, why it's necessary, different art forms that use it or talk about it, whether you're a painter, writer, filmmaker, musician, especially musicians when maybe they get signed to a label. If people still get signed anymore, I don't even know. And the label, you have a few good songs, and they're like, well, write 10 more. And can you do it by, Wednesday next week? You better find some inspiration, like, real quick. So, and you clearly can see where on albums, some are solid, others sort of fall short. It's 1 or 2 good songs, maybe 3, the rest are sort of filler. But it's a reminder how difficult that is to do. I mean, try and write one song that's decent and maybe holds up, let alone an entire album. And then how about 3 albums or 5 or 10? I mean, it's almost impossible. But there are a handful of musicians that can do it. I digress. So anyway, in the comments, if you care, what inspires you? What is your creative process? Do you feel a muse is necessary? These are all things that are sort of worth considering, sort of in our conscious and subconscious states. Things stream into our head. Why do they? You're just driving along. Maybe you're sitting here. Maybe you're having a cup of coffee. You're walking down a snowy sidewalk, like you could do out here literally right now if I walked out my front door. Maybe you're in a city. Maybe you're sitting with someone in a restaurant somewhere, the decor, other patrons sitting in the restaurant. Maybe there's a like 2-piece, 3-piece group of musicians, playing some soft jazz inside of the space. Maybe there's some decor somewhere, the lighting is right. Walking out of a building into a certain area. All of these things sort of create these mini movies and these stills in our life. So anyway, draw from that. Don't overthink it. And if something comes to you creatively, just go for it and do it. All right. See you next time.